CBS Sports presents the Geico Play of the Day.
Down in Atlanta, Chiefs coach Andy Reid faces a 4th and 1 early in the second half. He sends in Dustin Colquitt to Connor Button. The ball is snapped directly to Albert Wilson. He takes off, eluding Eric Weems and the rest of the Falcons special teams unit en route to a 55-yard touchdown and an athletic celebration.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And welcome back inside Studio 43 and the Subway Post-Game Show. I'm James Brown alongside all of my colleagues, Tony, Coach Bart, and Boomer. Folks, we'd like to let you know you can also catch us online. Simply watch the Subway Post-Game Show at cbssports.com. And a reminder, coming up on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the Chefs Classic New York blends celebrities and chefs playing golf and competing in a culinary matchup for charities. That's up next right here on CBS. But right now, let's get you caught up on the highlights.
Oh, this is Tundra Man. This is the first snow game. Look at my man. He came ready to play in here. How about Brock Osweiler? He'll tie this up, find Ryan Griffin in the end zone, 6-yard touchdown. He'll do the Lambeau leap right there, but you're not a Green Bay Packer. But right here, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to find Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson, 8 catches, 118 yards, a touchdown on the day. That was from 32 yards out. And Aaron Rubkowski goes in from 3 yards out to increase the lead to 21-7. A-Rod on the day, Aaron Rodgers, 20 of 30, 2 touchdowns, 209 yards. They win 21-13.
And speaking of Aaron Rodgers, after the game, he talked with our Tracy Wolfson.
Aaron, let me start. The weather, the hamstring, how difficult was it for you out there today?
It was a gritty win for us. You know, we dug deep at times. It was tough. The weather is beautiful. I mean, it's a Lambeau winter game for us, but it did make for some tough footing, and the ball was a little slick at times. But, our defense played great for us, gave us opportunity. And offensively, we just kind of dug deep the last couple drives and were able to get touchdowns on those, backed up, 98-yard drive, and then we came back and had a 90-yard drive. So that was important for us.
Let's talk about those last few drives, the throws you made, the catches that Jordy Nelson was able to make. How important is that chemistry between you two in terms of what you guys want to do going forward?
Well, we go back a long ways. We've played a lot of football together. I love him. He's a great competitor, a great teammate for us, a great leader. He got open, made some big plays. A tough catch on the sideline, getting racked, and then, got open, guy slipped on the touchdown. So he made some big plays for us, but it was a good team win for us. A lot of grit out there.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right, huge game for the Lions here. As they win this one, they go to 8-4. There's Archie Manning. He was a part of the 50th celebration for the New Orleans Saints today. Matthew Stafford, what a game. 30 of 42, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, including this 66-yarder to Golden Tate. Story of the day has to be the Detroit Lion defense. However, they got 3 interceptions from Drew Brees, including the one on the game's end. And I got to tell you, this was a statement win if you want to talk about the Detroit Lions and having to win a football game, going on the road and winning in a tough spot. That's exactly what Matthew Stafford and the Lions did today. They now go to 8-4. Green Bay is 6-6, and Minnesota 6-6 in the NFC North.
With that in mind, let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture and how it's shaping up, certainly in that NFC North.
Yeah, the NFC North talked about. Boom said 8-4, a 2-game lead. And remember, at Detroit, it plays Green Bay in the last game of the season, and again, that one will be played in Detroit. So again, this is going to tighten up and probably come down to the last week.
And Detroit still has to visit Dallas. They also have to go to the New York Giants. The Giants are getting ready to kick off against the Pittsburgh Steelers today. I mean, today was a wild day. There was a couple teams that really had a chance to do something special. The Atlanta Falcons were one of those teams. They did not do it, so that gives now Tampa Bay a chance to get them in themselves even tie with Atlanta if they could beat San Diego. But I got to tell you, this was a big win for Detroit. This was like the one win that they had not really had this year. And when you think about what they did to beat Drew Brees in his building, that's pretty impressive.
Because one of the things I kept saying is you're going to need a bunch of points in order to get the job done against New Orleans, but your hometown team is getting it done.
That's the question. When we talk about Matthew Stafford, no Calvin Johnson, his distribution of the ball, getting all his receivers involved. He is an MVP candidate because you talk about the lack of running game. Right here you see him finding Golden Tate, who's one of my favorite players in the game. And now he's throwing the ball on the rope in a tight spot in the red zone. And the key is right here finding Theo Riddick is to get 7 and not 3. And he's he has great pocket awareness right now, and this is his team. He has control of his team. On this play, he took a big shot in the pocket, and that's how you become one of your teammates' favorite friends, and that's how you become a leader, by being able to stare down the barrel of the gun and still deliver football.
85 yards rushing, Tony, on the ground, 22 of those 85 by Detroit.
Yeah, you know, in Detroit, it seems like this guy's on a roll. We talked about it. Jim Bob Cooter, we've been singing praise to him all year long.
That name, Tony.
Jim Bob Cooter, getting this guy to go out there and play some great football. It's going to come down to the end of the season. Aaron Rodgers, you saw Green Bay. That's 2 games in a row now. The defense is looking better. Aaron Rodgers is doing his thing. He's playing at an MVP-type level, 19 touchdowns, only 3 picks over the last 7 games. It's going to come down to the end of the season.
But why I'm confident in the Detroit Lions is because, you know, they've been behind. This is the first game. We didn't know how they would react, having a lead in the fourth quarter, talk about winning all their games. You have to be gritty and mentally tough to be able to do that. And they have, you know, the last 2 games against the Green Bay Packers and against the Chicago Bears are at home. And those are divisional games. They count for 1.5. So, you know, that's the key. If they can win their divisional games, their conference games, you know, the other ones can hurt, but, you know, they help a lot.
3 really impressive wins today. One was the Detroit Lions. We just talked about them. The Kansas City Chiefs going into Atlanta and beating them. And then the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, all of a sudden, here we go. We're in December. Coach talked about them winning ugly. That was nothing ugly about their performance today, because Joe Flacco threw for over 340 yards and 4 touchdown passes. So a huge, huge victory for the Baltimore Ravens. Just take a look at the AFC playoff picture here, guys. Houston is still there. Now, this makes an interesting Monday night game. Indianapolis at the New York Jets. If Indianapolis wins that game, then they will be tied with Houston and Tennessee, all 3 of those teams at the top of the AFC South at 6-6.
But when you talk about being able to try and go to the playoffs, you got to have a good defense, which the Tennessee Titans do. You have to be able to pack your running game, and they have 2 horses in the stable that can finish strong. Mariota's playing his best football. So you talk about 2 teams that's limping to the finish, and the Titans, and the Colts and the Texans, but you talk about a team that's starting to trend upward in the Titans that look like they can finish strong.
Coach, your assessment as we look at the AFC South, Coach?
Well, I agree. I think it's you know, you can talk Tennessee, they can run the football, and they're a physical football team. I still think Andrew Luck, I think he's the best quarterback in that division right now, and he's coming back healthy with a week off. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he plays Monday night against the New York Jets.
Don't forget, Houston's 3-0 in that division, though.
No, they are.
And Houston has been running roughshod over that division for a while, but, you know, here's the thing. That's why this is such a big game. Andrew Luck coming out of the concussion protocol. Looks like he's going to play tomorrow night. And if he plays and they win, then I think all of a sudden you're thinking Aaron Rodgers, you're thinking, you know, Andrew Luck, here we go again with these guys late in the season.
But tell me this, Boom. Who's playing the best quarterback in that division? Is it not Mariota?
I would say it's Mariota, yeah. But I would also say, you know, this is the first time he's been through this. This is now all of a sudden like a pennant drive for a starting pitcher or something, or for a manager who's never been through it before. Marcus is going through it now, and it's great. It's great to have 3 teams in the mix the final month of the season.
And for a guy who has been through it now, Aaron Rodgers, I want to go back to the point that Tony was making as well, too. 19 touchdowns in the last 7 games, and a guy who has been there, and he seems to be taking it on his shoulders.
Yeah, only 3 picks, too. And if you look at the way this guy has been playing this time of year throughout his career, this guy is money time, especially at home. And that weather, the special conditions, they're starting to get it going. Devontae Adams, we talked about him last week. He had 2 touchdowns. Boomer highlighted him last week. Jordy Nelson, I think he's got over 10 touchdowns so far this season. He is able to distribute that ball in any type of weather. You can take it on the road. A former MVP, Super Bowl champion. This time of year, if I'm going out there and I'm deciding who's going to win games and who's going to come, if it comes down to a divisional game at the end of the season, even though it's in Detroit, I'm looking at this guy to lead the way. He already said it. We can win out. He thinks they're going to win out. The defense is trending upwards. They're getting healthier. Clay Matthews will come back if he can stay healthy. Sam Shields, cornerback. They can go out there and stop people on the defensive side of the ball. This team is going to be dangerous.
When you get into talk about December football, it's about experience. And when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, he has experience. What happens is veteran teams won't panic. They know how to finish games. You know, and a lot of games in December are lost. They're not won. A lot of teams, because of the pressure, they can't keep up. You're watching the clock. You're watching other games in halftime. If you got the 4 o'clock game, you're watching the early games, and the pressure builds up. And sometimes young players can't perform under that pressure, and that's when mistakes happen.
I have to say, though, the Detroit defense really impressed me today.
They've been doing that way.
And they've been getting better each and every game.
They've been playing really well.
They have. And to go into New Orleans and win that way, I mean, you should be proud. You're from Detroit.
I am.
You got your blue on and everything. I mean, so that was a very impressive performance. I just That game in Detroit, the final week of the season, I just have a feeling because Detroit's going to have to go on the road, like I said, to the Giants and to the Cowboys. Not easy. Neither one of those games is going to be easy.
You know, and I think the health has a lot to do going down the stretch. We saw Aaron Rodgers. He's been playing almost on one leg with that hamstring. We saw Matthew Stafford limping in the second half of this game against New Orleans. So, you know, going down the stretch, you know, listen, it's a battle of attrition in many respects in regards to what you have and what you're dealing with, but experience does pay dividends. And you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who's been there before. They've been backed into a corner, and somehow he always finds a way of responding.
I just love Matthew Stafford and his ability to distribute the ball to multiple targets. So when you take one away, Anquan Bolden, you talk about his leadership and talk about how he really shows in the red zone, 6 red zone touchdowns. You know, Ebron, he has a list of weapons, so he has no excuses now. He's the leader.
Insight from guys who have been there, and they've got more to share. We'll do that after this.
Cause you're playing it with the best. And you know that we put them up to the test. Just see it. Just watch how they play it. I watch you play what you're saying. No, that's just it.
How do you stay fresh?
Join us on Saturday at 3 Eastern as the Home Depot College Football on CBS is proud to bring you the game that marches to its own beat. That would be the 117th Army-Navy game presented by USAA. Coverage begins with Auto Trader College Football today at 2:30 as we welcome you back to Studio 43 and a Subway post-game show, and right back to the highlights we take you.
All right, Chiefs at the Falcons, and what a game this was. How about the Chiefs? They're going to line up for the punt. It's a fake right up the middle. It goes to Albert Wilson. He takes it 56 yards for the touchdown, 27-16. Chiefs are up at that point, but Matt Ryan bounces back. Aldrick Robinson for the 5-yard touchdown. With 4.5 minutes left, 28-27, Falcons lead, and they go for the 2-point conversion to get the 3-point lead. But it gets picked off by Eric Berry, and he takes it all the way back for the 2-point conversion. That would prove to be the final time that Matt Ryan and this offense was going to get on the field. They kicked the ball off to the Chiefs. They were able to run the timeout. And the Chiefs go on to win this game.
And certainly the big hand in that game, big production and big producer indeed, was Eric Berry. And afterwards, it was our Jamie Erdahl talking with the star of the game.
Eric, this game had absolutely everything. When you know you're going up against such a formidable offense in the Atlanta Falcons, how did you prepare for a game like this, knowing that they were such a tough team?
It's all about the process. You know, it's never about the opponent. We know they're a good team. Can't do nothing about that. The only thing I can control, the only thing we can control as a team is our attitude and our effort and our preparation, you know. So we just focus on the process and just let the other part handle itself.
We saw you give one of your interceptions, the ball, to your mom. What is that like coming home here and winning on your home turf?
It means a lot, man. The last time I came home mid-season, it was to get treatment for cancer, you know. So now I'm here to play a game. So I take pride in things that a lot of people might take for granted. So just the little things, just being here, being able to play, being on this turf, having my family present. You know, I went through so much, so just having them and having the fans and my teammates support, it means a lot.
Well, we could tell your teammates were very prideful of you today, so congratulations, Eric.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It is time now for Brilliance on the Field, and it's presented by Kay Jewelers. And, of course, it's Chiefs defensive back Eric Berry. Look at what he did. But beyond that, I know, Bart, you were very passionate talking about this guy and what he's meant to the team, more than just the player.
He reminds me so much of Ed Reed. We play in, this is the exact same system in which we played in. He's a playmaker. He's made 2 big plays, you know, last couple of weeks. You know, how can you guys imagine losing a game on a 2-point conversion attempt, 2 points? He's just Johnny on the spot. Also, he scored the other touchdown in this game and took it back for 6 points. He's responsible for 8 points. Pay the man his money.
He had a great game. And think about this from the Chiefs' standpoint. They have now won at Oakland. They've won at Denver. They've won at Atlanta. Think about, and then think how their season finishes. They're going to see Oakland again. They're going to see Denver again, I believe, and I think they're going to see the San Diego Chargers again. So I would tell you that this team is probably, if not the hottest team in the league right now, one of the hottest teams in the league, and the last team that I would want to see in their building during the playoffs.
Certainly, I want to get Coach and Tony's thoughts on this as well, too, but Eric Berry scored more points than the Dolphins, and take a look at this, at the Dolphins and the 49ers. But, Coach, talk about his play within the context of the team.
Well, I mean, this whole football team, when you look at them statistically, which is why you say statistics can be misleading, they're in the 20s on offense, they're in the 20s on defense, but what they do is they're so well coached, they don't beat themselves, and particularly in the red zone, when you talk about holding the field goals, don't let them give up touchdowns. They showed up early in this game. Again, one of the differences in this game, Atlanta had to settle for field goals when they got down there. They do a great job of matching up on routes. They have an understanding where they are on the field, and they have playmakers. I mean, it's one thing I say about this football team. They're well coached. This play right here, we just showed it how many times, won the game for them. Again, they jump routes. They know where they are in the field. They do a great job of route recognition. They do fit the runs very well. One of the best red zone defenses where you get down there, instead of scoring touchdowns, they hold them to field goals, and in the end, that's a difference in games.
And Coach, there's one other aspect to this team that we never really ever talk about, but it always rises up because it's an Andy Reid team. How about the fake punt?
Fake punt.
Right? How about last week? How about Tyreek Hill on a kickoff return?
Yes.
These are special teams things that happen. You know, you kind of take them for granted. Then all of a sudden, you start seeing these plays show up. That fake punt with Albert Wilson today was an awesome call and an awesome drawn-up play.
And I would just say this. I'll go back. Everyone's talking about the analytics of going for 2 points. But early in this fourth quarter, it's 27-22. And the Atlanta Falcons had just scored. Instead of kicking the extra point and going 27-23, and you're only down by 4, which means if they kick a field goal, it's still 7. They went for 2 and missed it. And in the end, they kept chasing that extra point, and that's what caused them to lose this football game. Now, I'm not saying that's you apply that to everything, but, you know, it's not so easy just to sit there and say, oh, just go for 2. The analytics at times, I think you got to be very careful about chasing points. And that's why I never looked at that 2-point chart till you got about 8 minutes left in the game. At that point, time then becomes the biggest obstacle.
What is it like? You could look at analytics, but then you have to say, look, every game is different. Every situation is different.
It is.
Those are the things that don't go into the analytics, you know, because you're as a coach, that's what we pay you for.
Right, and as a coach, you have to sit there and look at the time, who you're playing, you know,
how are you playing?
Yeah, all those things. But my point is that when you do it early in the game, or even at my point, early in the fourth quarter, you're chasing that if you don't get it. You get it, it's fine. You made it. But if you don't get it, and I'm not trying to be a negative, Debbie Downer here, because say you go in there thinking you don't make it. I'm just saying, be very careful about just applying something when you say, oh, you'll make it half the time, because that came baback to bite them right there.
Tony, Boomer talked about that well-executed play. Talk about how well-executed it was, that fake punt that was executed.
It was a direct snap to Albert Wilson. This is obviously something they saw in the film room and said, we are going to call it when we get in this game. This is not anything they just drew up on the side. They've been planning this all week. I can almost guarantee you that. But that's what we're talking about. And what you guys are saying, the Kansas City Chiefs right now, it is next man up. It's special teams one week. It's offense. It's defense. It's heroes. Who's going to be the hero this week? Travis Kelce this week. He played a career game, 140 yards off 8 catches. He's almost impossible to guard out there today. And you have that type of team going into the playoffs, this playoff stretch, and going into the postseason. I'll tell you what, this is a team that can go out there. Honestly, I'm starting to believe that this team has a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
And Tony, speaking of going to the postseason, Denver trying to stay in the mix with respect to that too.
And how about Denver, and how about the Jaguars?
Yeah, Denver. Right now Paxton Lynch getting a start. He's going to hand the ball off to Devontae Booker, who breaks 3 or 4 tackles, get a little assist from his offensive lineman to get in for the score. And then Blake Bortles, drops back looking for it. He's picked off by Bradley Roby, who takes it back 50 yards. Blake Bortles, 15 interceptions on the season. Paxton Lynch, 12 for 24 for 104 yards. Denver is trying to keep pace. They have a tough schedule coming up. Later they play at New England. They play at Kansas City, at Tennessee. They have New England, and they have the Oakland Raiders. This is a tough schedule coming down the stretch. They cannot afford to have a slip up in Jacksonville today.
Now let's take a look at the AFC West standings right here. JB, as you can see, Kansas City now 9-3, 3-0 in the division. That's what's really impressive, and they just keep getting better. They're surging, and remember, no Jeremy Maclin the last few weeks. Maybe they'll get him back now. And the one thing I did like about what Andy Reid did today, kind of opened up the offense a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Andy Reid Reed is just magical in my mind. He has a game plan different every week. He uses the speed he has, DeAnthony Thomas, Tyreek Hill. You know, the running game, the screen game has always been a big part of what they like to do. And Alex Smith he's a good quarterback. His numbers aren't going to be up there. He doesn't make mistakes. He makes the big plays when he has to. But this is a football team that just they play every phase, lead the league in takeaways, turnover, takeaway margin. That's how you win football games.
Yeah, as you heard after in that interview that we showed, Eric Berry talking about attitude, effort, and preparation.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm giving Eric Berry a lot of credit, but that comes from a head coach right there. They are preaching that from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Right. And when you buy into that, that's going to make you go out there and be that much more dangerous.
Short week for Kansas City, Thursday night at home versus the Oakland Raiders.
All right, Bart, instant update coming your way, buddy.
Talk about great quarterbacks. Let's talk about Phillip Rivers, who's going to drop back and find Dontrell Inman, who takes it in for the 35-yard score in the first quarter. It is 7-0 San Diego. Phillip Rivers is a tough out at home.
There's that class of 2004 again.
Where do you put him again, Coach?
He's up.
Of course he's up there with the NC State where you went to school. We all know why you tied to him.
How about that AFC West, though? How good are these teams? Even the worst team, supposedly, the
is
San
very
Diego
dangerous.
Chargers, they're still going out there beating teams and putting up
Love
points.
these guys bubbling over with insight and information. More to come as the Subway postgame show continues.
The Subway postgame show. Served fresh by Subway restaurants.
And back here in New York and the Subway post-game show, our friends at Subway want you to know about a couple of their latest additions to the Subway roster. We normally tease with Boomer about this, the rotisserie-style chicken sandwich made with tender all-white meat chicken, which is raised without antibiotics. Tony would say that. And the thick-cut carved turkey sandwich, Bart, which also features all-white meat, no artificial preservatives, Bill, with flavors this big, you just can't lose. So get to your local Subway and pick one up.
Let's get through this. Hurry up.
Look at you. Are you licking your chops,
Yes,
buddy?
I am. That's right. Exactly. You know what today was? Today was the Joe Flacco day. That's exactly what it was. But how about an instant update right here?
Yeah, you can see David Johnson. He's going to take this handoff for the first points of the day for the Arizona Cardinals. They jump out to an early lead, 7-0. You see Carson Palmer, 5 of 7, 46 yards. He's playing pretty well so far in this game.
All right, you got to win at home. That's exactly what the Ravens did. The Dolphins come in on a 6-game winning streak, and all they did was give up big play after big play as Joe Flacco completed 36 of 47 passes, 381 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, he was hitting everybody today. He was just on fire, and Dennis Pitta, 9 catches, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They just absolutely beat up on the Dolphins 38-6.
You know what? I like the calm and poise of one Joe Flacco. And after the game, he talked with our Chris Fisher.
Joe, a record 27 first-half completions, over 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. What allowed you to be so successful against this Dolphins secondary today?
You know, we were able to get the backers up a little bit and find some holes in there today. And then the guys did a great job running with the football. I think jumping out in the beginning of the game the way we did, just moving the ball really, really efficiently, really helped.
When you talk about crunch time, December football, is this the type of performance that you need to see coming down the stretch?
No doubt about it. You know, this is another team that's competing for the playoffs right now, just like we are. And it was big for us to come out and have a day like this.
Next week, a tough one up in New England. How does this set the tone heading up there?
Well, hey, it's a lot of fun to go play up in New England. We're used to playing up there, and we're excited about going up there on Monday night.
Good luck next week, Jeff.
Thank you.
Time now to take a look at our player of the game presented by Auto Trader, and it is Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco.
And you just heard what he said. They have a Monday night date with New England up in Gillette next Monday. And if there is one team that is not intimidated by going into Gillette, and you know this, Bart, from playing in Baltimore, it is the Baltimore Ravens.
I tell you what, they don't fear going up there.
I don't think they're afraid at all. But let's talk about this game real quick. Not really much of a game. It's never really close. Los Angeles Rams playing against the New England Patriots. See, LeGarrette Blount is going to take this handoff on up the sideline for 43 yards. He finished with 88 yards. They go up 7-0 at that point. And then look at that pass right there. That's Tom Brady, one of the best back shoulder throws. You can see they go on to win this game 26-10. Like I said, never really in doubt. Tom Brady played outstanding, 33 of 46, 269 yards, and the 1 touchdown, 10-2.
And take a look at here, not surprising at all. Most wins by a quarterback all time. That includes the postseason. It is Tom Brady surpassing Peyton Manning, and Brady doesn't look in any way as if he is slowing down. Afterwards, he talked about the significance of this new mark.
You know, I'm grateful to, for all my teammates and my coaches, and for my family and friends. It's been a lot of football over the years, so, it's always been about winning, and I've been very fortunate to be on a lot of great teams, so I just feel very grateful.
And, Coach, as you talk about Brady, put that also in the context of even with the challenge of not being there with Gronk. I mean, the track record of these two, Belichick, Brady, and, of course, the staff there, I mean, I'm not surprised at what they do.
No, everyone wondered, what are they going to do? They don't have Gronk. All of a sudden, you have Malcolm Mitchell, the rookie receiver, show up today, has 8 catches today. Hogan's making plays. They have a lot of weapons around Tom, and again, he does a great job of distributing them. They have balance in the running game. That's as complete an offense, I think, as there is in the National Football League.
And here's the AFC playoff picture, guys. You can see New England gets the 10 wins. Oakland's playing right now, and when you think about New England, you think about experience. Today was like a scrimmage. I don't think anybody really gave this game too much attention. Oh. And all they did was just go out kind of like matter of fact and win a game 26-10.
Yeah. I tell you what, JB, he's so humble, so modest. It makes me sick. But I love this.
He makes me sick.
He's so good, he makes me sick.
And Tony, as you put it in perspective here with AFC North standings, look at what you see here.
Yeah, well, obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers, they still have yet to play this week, but looking at the Baltimore Ravens and the way Joe Flacco is played today, the way that defense is, they are trending upwards right now, and they are looking like a team that has been there, done that, which they have. And this time of year, if they can keep up that style of play going into the playoffs, I think this is another team out there that you got to keep an eye on that could make a legitimate run.
The one thing about Joe Flacco, we forget, he's coming off a major knee surgery. Sometimes it takes a while to get back there. I'll tell you, he was throwing balls today, not only just completing passes, he was hitting guys in stride. I mean, these were perfect passes. I mean, I was watching this all day. I'm saying he is throwing darts. I mean, this guy was played as good a game as a quarterback could play today. In the pocket, he was looking down the field, looking comfortable again. And we all know that defense is for real. So I'll tell you what, this is a football team. They are peaking at the right time.
Well, guys have been in and out of the lineup, so now he's finally been able to get some continuity and some consistency with the receivers. But you have to take your hat off to those coaches, because if you watch, they were running the same patterns out of different formations. All the passes were intermediate, in between the numbers. They were high-low on the guys. We say, don't take the cheese. I teased Coach earlier. If the linebackers step up, Joe was throwing it behind them. They had a perfect game plan. And this defense had something on that offense as well, because if you look, Terrell Suggs was waiting, listening for a call. He was shifting the line late in the game. So you have to give credit to those coaching staff, because they found something and they exploited it in the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Boomer, you're getting ready for your radio show already, but here's an update.
That's exactly right. Matt Gillislee is going to take it in from 1 yard out. The Buffalo Bills are going to take a 10-3 lead on the Raiders right there, as you can see. And it looks like there's 12:30 left to go here in the second quarter. And, this is a very interesting game for the Raiders. They find themselves behind now. I'm watching Derek Carr. He's playing with that right pinky finger taped to his ring finger. So I don't know, what kind of effect that's going to have for him. Last week I thought he came out of the locker room. He was all jazzed up and everything. He could get through it. Now it's a whole different set of circumstances a week later.
Well, you talk about Buffalo, 11 play, 4-minute, 6-minute drive. Keep that offense on the bench. That's the best defense to keep that explosive offense off the field. Back with home drive.
You got it, Mark. You got it. Home drive.
Introduce.
A big day of college basketball coming your way Saturday on CBS and CBS Sports Network. It's the inaugural Never Forget Tribute Classic featuring Notre Dame taking on defending national champion Villanova at noon Eastern on CBS. And that'll be followed by Penn State and Pitt over on CBS Sports Network. All right, folks. Time now to showcase the top plays from the early games with a look at today's excitement presented by the new Nissan Titan.
Smith rolls, throws, complete touchdown.
Pass deflected and intercepted. Lowry never giving Osweiler a chance.
Berry to the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Kansas City.
What a catch, an acrobatic grab, pulled down for the touchdown.
Oh, there's the fake. And right up the middle. Touchdown. What a gutsy call.
Flacco. He's got another touchdown. Wide open for the touchdown.
Yeah, here we go. The Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton, what a day he has. He's going to find Tyler Eifert right here for his 13-yard touchdown reception. Then he's going to connect with Brandon LaFell on the day. 23 of 31, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he hit 9 different receivers. Remember, they're playing without A.J. Green. The Philadelphia Eagles in a free fall, 1-6 last 7 games. And you see right there, 4-7-1. Cincinnati moves to, and Philadelphia drops to 5-7. Carson Wentz, 3 interceptions.
San Francisco at Chicago, weather was an issue. The star of the day was Jordan Howard, who carried the ball 32 times for 117 yards, 3 touchdowns. Colin Kaepernick was benched on the day for Blaine Gabbert, 1 for 5. Chicago gets the win.
All right, Bart mentioned earlier today that at this time of the year could be a war of attrition. With that in mind, let's get an injury update from our NFL Today insider, Jason Lockenfora, in the newsroom. Jason?
Well, JB, some good news for the Seattle Seahawks tonight. Michael Bennett, I'm told, will play. He's been out over a month recovering from knee surgery, maybe their best defensive player. The Broncos' offense struggled today with Paxton Lynch. Trevor Siemian's out of that walking boot. He hopes to practice this week. And a non-injury note, Jeff Fisher confirmed after the game that he did sign a contract extension. He says he signed it before the season, but as I reported this morning on the NFL Today, we'll see if he sees that through another 2 years. He needs to start winning some football games.
All right, seems like there's still more to come on that report. Jason, thank you so much. And the Subway postgame show will continue here at CBS after this. Los Angeles and MacGyver, that's all coming your way tonight, only CBS. And get excited for the only NFL show about all quarterbacks. Break down all of Week 13 action on a special 100th episode of NFL Monday QB, delivered by FedEx tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network.
All right, Chiefs at the Falcons. You see this score right here, 29-28. Check out Alex Smith, 21 of 25, 270 yards. Great game for him as they go in and beat a very tough Falcon football team.
All right, Tony, and afterwards it was a jubilant locker room. I think we've got a little bit of Alex Smith and hopefully Andy Reid as well.
You know you're good, Andy.
Hey, listen, great job. Great job. Now, look, on a serious note here, we got a short week, man. I mean, this thing is short, but we got to take care of ourselves. I'm not sure if anybody knows who we're playing. But it's going to be a good one. Thursday night. Hey. One little Chiefs for us right here. How about those Chiefs?
Andy. Oh, we love Andy, do we not?
I'll tell you what, Andy Reid is one of the best coaches. You're talking about a guy who can still relate to players at any generation. And he's just a man's man. He understands the game. He holds people accountable. And he's just a good football coach.
Yeah, kind of like you, Coach. You know what I mean? You hold people accountable. You have a good time. I love working with you. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Bart, was that sincere?
That's like the world's smallest violin right there, man. That's a Hallmark card. But I tell you what, one thing about Andy Reid, he surrounded himself with teachers. And, you know, a lot of times people don't realize it's about teaching, coaching, you know, making the players smarter. And you talk about situational football, you know, Eric Berry jumping at a route. That was a trap that they set. And they understood what to expect because of the coaching. And you know, people forget that coaching is about teaching as well.
You know, 2 teams right now coming into focus are experienced coaches, experienced quarterbacks, quality defenses, players that are used to winning big games late in the season. The Ravens and the Chiefs in the AFC, right?
No doubt about it. I mean, we got the game Thursday. I mean, Oakland comes into Kansas City, and that is going to be some game right there. When you look at this right now, and as you see, the Raiders are trailing right now to the Buffalo Bills. But listen, this is this division, you know, arguably one of the best divisions, maybe the best division in football. Denver Broncos are still sitting there at 8-4. One ugly, but you know what? They still win with that great defense. And we talked about this before. How would you like to be a quarterback in the AFC West when you have Khalil Mack, Von Miller, and Justin Houston?
You know, if I'm on their team, I don't really worry about it. If I'm on the other team.
And a young Joey Bosa, too. Joey Bosa's coming on. They're starting to play.
Joey Bosa, yeah. San Diego, yep.
I guess we can't underestimate, again, how significant that Thursday night game is. And from a coaching perspective, Andy did just say to the veterans that, hey, take care of yourselves. We got a short week here.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and, you know, they'll have a plan in place. And one thing about playing a divisional opponent, there's not going to be a whole lot of secrets that are out there. It's going to be about execution. It's about preparation. It's about making plays. And right now, Kansas City's got a lot of playmakers on their football team on both sides of the ball.
And Oakland has the late game, so they're going to have the least amount of rest.
As we get set to lead, did you take that sincerely coming from Tony Gonzalez?
I can see he meant.
No, I didn't mean it.
You didn't mean it?
Just kidding.
We'll see you next week right here on CBS.
Yeah, boys.